Hey world, I know I'm hard to see, but it doesn't matter. I'm not making this for something for you to look at. I'm making it for something for you to hear. So normally I do my deep stuff on my road rants. Sometimes I get upset, in the road rants. Sometimes I do some things for the manosphere, or the black manosphere, because I'm a red pill guy, I guess, or purple pill. Sometimes I get on here and I talk about news and I rant about that, or end up putting that on the rantersation. But a lot of people will actually come to me for my martial arts knowledge and opinion and prowess. So this is the steel jab. I don't even know if you can see me jabbing, but this road rant is actually a steel jab show, because we got UFC, well, I don't even know what the number is, 287 coming up, and that should tell you something, right? The headliners are two top tier, what are they, middleweights? Yeah, Jorge Masvidal and Colby Covington. No, I think they're fighting at 170 welterweights. So I'm not excited about this fight, and I'm not gonna buy it. I'll read about it on Twitter in real time. I will watch the prelims, and I will follow the other fights as well and formulate opinions on those as well, and I'll put that on this channel. But the main event, meh. Now, is it going to be a good fight? Probably. Like, it's probably going to be a good fight. Like, knowing Jorge and knowing Colby and knowing that they like to put on a show, and knowing that they understand the business of fighting, they understand the fight game, they understand that stuff outside the ring. Let's break that down. The only reason that this fight is happening, and the only reason that is a headlining event, 5-round non-title fight, and this isn't the first time these guys have gotten headliners in major UFC events, including the numbered events, without having a motherfucking strap. This isn't the first time these guys have got 5-round fights that weren't even in title contention. I mean, hell, Jorge Masvidal, no shit, made up a belt, right? The BMF championship, standing for bad motherfucker. I thought it was cool, but it's not real, okay? Like, that's not up for debate. If somebody asks you if Jorge Masvidal is a bad motherfucker, the answer is yes. Yes. Like, I talk that shit behind an iPhone, but do you think I want any parts of fucking Jorge Masvidal or Colby Covington? No. Right? Like, I'm a martial artist, but I'm not a fighter. So that's a distinction that I'll make for a more deep show. This is a steel jab. We don't get deep on here. So these guys are legit fighters, and they're obviously bad motherfuckers. Everybody on the card's a bad motherfucker. You don't get into the UFC being a pussy. Like, it just doesn't happen. So I say that to say this. That BMF belt is all part of the work that they do outside the ring. They know how to promote fights. And knowing how to sell a fight and promote a fight is a very, 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 very valuable and lucrative skill. Dare I say, necessary skill for the fight business. And frankly, for the fight game. Because it's entertaining. Why do you think we got dudes like Conor McGregor, right? Conor McGregor. Yeah, obviously he's a top tier fighter. But that dude's on his way to being a fucking billionaire. You don't get, 9-digit bank accounts because you can fight. You get 9-digit bank accounts because you can leverage your fighting ability to garner massive amounts of attention. So this is a road rant, so I'm allowed to rant. So let me explain that. Let me explain how attention works. I don't want to get too deep. This is just a steel jab. But the key to money, the key to all resources, frankly, is attention. I don't care what you do for a living. Don't care. Don't care what you do. You are also, at least partially, in the attention business. Because your skills, if unnoticed, are not valuable. Value is a matter of perception. And perception only exists with attention. You can't have an opinion about something you don't perceive. So if you don't get people's attention, you ain't getting paid. You're just not. Now, if you can harness people's attention, then your skills can make you rich. I mean, let's just be honest. If you look at the numbers and the money that Conor McGregor has made and the Conor McGregor money that he's brought into the UFC, it way outstrips his abilities. Khabib Nurmagomedov destroyed Conor McGregor as if he was just like everybody else. Nate Diaz dominated him in their first fight. But yet, Conor McGregor has way more money than both of them combined. So if it was just about skill, the superior fighter would have the superior bank account. But he doesn't. And the reason why he doesn't is because it's not just about skill. It's about skill riding a wave of attention. And Jorge Masvidal is, as of late, really good at creating a wave of attention outside the cage. And I think Jorge Masvidal is the more sincere of the two people. Yes, I do have a prediction about who's going to actually win the fight. Obviously. This is a prediction show. Surprise. But we'll get to that later. I'm still, giving you guys context. If you just wanted, percentages and stats, you wouldn't be watching the steel jab. You'd be reading, Wikipedia. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys context. Now, the reason that I'm saying this is because I believe Jorge Masvidal is more of a sincere person. I don't believe him completely. I do think he's playing the game to a certain degree. And when I say playing the game, I mean, he's kind of acting like he's more mad than he is, or he's embellishing. That's the word I'll use. I'll say, Jorge Masvidal is embellishing. He's in character. He's just a more extreme version of himself right now, because he knows he needs to garner attention. And it's fine. That's respectable. There's literally nothing wrong with that. I respect it. But then I don't think Colby is sincere. I think to a high degree that Colby Covington's full of shit. I don't believe him enough. I think the Colby Covington that you see is a persona. I don't think that when nobody's around and the lights are up and the lights are dark, or he's just with, people that he grew up with, I don't think you're getting the same guy. I think the Colby Covington that sells fights is a facade. I'm not hating on him. Hey, it is what it is. From a business perspective, it's smart. Because if he has to be a bombastic, cliche, supposed rich boy, banging bikini girls on a yacht in Miami, Trump supporter, like, if that is the persona that he believes will garner him the most attention and get people to watch his fights, so be it. So be it. If I was in the fight game and I knew that marketing myself was part of it, I can't say that I wouldn't do it. I mean, because when you look at people like Conor McGregor, that's a 100x difference in salary, right? Either your kids can be okay, or you can talk that shit and your grandkids college is covered. So, not hating on him for it, but I don't believe him. So I think this fight is a lot of hype, because neither one of these guys are champions. Now, Colby Covington did have good fights for the belt, but he lost to the same dude twice. Granted, that dude is Kamaru Usman, so, he gets a pass for that. Now, without Kamaru Usman in the UFC, would Colby Covington be a champion? I doubt it. I doubt it. He's just vulnerable enough for somebody hungrier to be more motivated and destroy him, even if just once. Would Jorge Masvidal be a champion without Usman in the division? No. Jorge Masvidal has a ceiling. I'm sorry. He's just one of those guys. He's a Stephan Bonner. He's a Chael Sonnen. He's a Kenny Florian. He's a could have been. I just don't think he has it. And even if he did get the title, now let me back up. I'm not saying neither one of these guys could win a championship. I'm not saying that. They could probably win a championship. I'm saying they can't be a champion. And what's the distinction there? You can win a championship because you worked your ass off and got yourself into a position and you had a good night. A la Matt Serra. Matt Serra's a top tier fighter, and he worked his way into an excellent position where he got a shot at that time, the greatest welterweight of all time in George St. Pierre. And he caught GSP on the right night with the right hook at the right time, and he took the motherfucking throne from GSP fair and square. It's still the biggest upset in MMA history, still to this day. I mean, it's the Buster Douglas equivalent, right? For those of you, you know, who don't really follow boxing or aren't old enough to know or remember, Mike Tyson was champion of the world. He was making good TV, knocking everybody out in a minute or less. And then this dude, literally named Buster, who nobody had heard of, gave Mike all he can handle. And Mike was surprised that the kid lasted as long as he did. You know, I want to say it was round 8, which was unheard of for a Tyson fight. And Mike put Buster down. He's like, finally, I'm done with this bitch. And then Buster said, oh, no. My mama died. And I told my mama I was going to be champion of the world. We ain't finished. It is controversial because the referee gave him a slow count. But what's a sport without controversy? But if you do ever watch it, you go back at it, Buster Douglas was given way more than 10 seconds to recover in real time. But Buster Douglas came back. I want to say it was 2 rounds later. I feel like it was round 10. And he put Mike away. He put him away. Mike was done. And Mike never argued it. Mike never said, oh, you know, it was a quick count. Any of that stuff. It was fair and square. Just like Matt Serra knocked out GSP. Fair and square. If you talk to GSP today, he'd be like, yeah, he knocked me the fuck out. Well, he said it with a French accent. And he won't say he knocked me the fuck out. He would say, you know, something like, he beat me. He beat me bad for real. He beat me. That's a little bit Portuguese accent. Sorry, French people. But how long did Matt Serra hold the title? In other words, what happened when GSP came back? So you can win a title, but you can't be a champion. On the female side, I would lay that. There's something making noise in my car, so I keep looking. That's the problem with a road rant. I would make that claim about Miesha Tate, because she only held the title in the UFC for like 8 seconds. But Miesha Tate's not a could have been. Because Miesha Tate was a motherfucking beast before the UFC. Miesha Tate was great when she used to lose to Ronda Rousey and beat everybody else in the WEC. What's my point? My point is, the 2 dudes who are headlining this fight, they may, in their career, even, you know, with Usman, probably not with Usman, but even with Usman, they may, you know, get the belt at some point. Just because they just don't give up. And eventually they will Matt Serra somebody. But they're not going to be able to hold it. They're not going to be able to defend it. Do you really think that Colby Covington or Jorge Masvidal could be a reigning defending champion, you know, 4 or 5 times? Like, really? Like let's say Colby Covington beats Kamaru Usman. Do you think Colby Covington will ever consistently beat Kamaru Usman to keep him off the belt? Come on, man. Come on. And I like Jorge. Dude's got like 50 fights. He's got like 35 wins. He's no joke in terms of professional experience. But he's not that guy. So this fight is exciting stylistically, and it's only happening because they talked themselves into it. they have this cool narrative about how they used to be friends. You know, now they're mortal enemies, yada, yada, yada. They're talking all that shit. So this fight is only happening because they talk shit. Not because they are, you know, the next big things. I had to make that point because they're headlining a major UFC event. If this was just a fight night or one of the unnumbered UFC events, I wouldn't, you know, make a point to really talk about how they're really not worthy of that spot. Because they're not. But it allowed me to talk about how attention works. Now let's put our attention on what will probably happen in the actual fight. What will probably happen is Jorge Masvidal will get off to a quick start. He's a fast starter. He's got some of the fastest knockouts on record. Covington is a slow starter. He's known for doing his damage after he gets hurt. He's known for winning late. So, round one, I think Jorge Masvidal is gonna, you know, start quickly. I think Colby's gonna pretend to start quickly, like he is a fast starter, and then he's gonna realize he's actually in the ring with an actual fast starter, and Jorge is gonna do a lot of damage. Is he gonna finish Colby? No. Colby's gonna absorb a lot of damage. He's gonna lose the first round for sure, but that's gonna wake him up. And in round two, having taken some damage and realizing, oh shit, I'm losing in front of everybody, he's gonna step it up. And if you want to talk about stepping it up particularly and specifically how he's gonna do it, Colby Covington is gonna find kicks that land. He's gonna throw kicks at Jorge early, but they're not gonna be very effective. But Colby has a variety of kicks that he can throw. So he's gonna keep, you know, switching his stance, switching his timing, switching his target, switching his striking surface. He's gonna keep mixing it up until he finds kicks that are working for him. That's gonna allow him enough space for Jorge not to knock him the fuck out. Because if it went straight to just hands, Colby's got great punches, but he's way too hittable. Like, he eats a lot of shots. I don't know the stats, but his stats are his face. Right? Look at Colby Covington after the Usman fights. Look at Colby Covington after several fights. That dude needs a boxing camp where it's like Freddie Roach or Floyd Mayweather. You know, like, hey, this is how you don't get fucking hit, man. This is how you don't get punched in the fucking face. Right? Because he's super easy to hit. He has a great chin, which he needs to, because he gets hit a lot. So, but those kicks are going to keep Jorge Masvidal far enough away so that he doesn't knock Colby out. So Colby, because of the kicks, and he's gonna find success with the kicks, Colby is gonna actually win round two. And then we'll go into round three, 1-1. Super exciting. The underdog, you know, is now showing some success. But Jorge Masvidal, with his 50 fights and all that experience, he's getting excellent advice in his corner every time. So he comes out for round three, and he switches it up completely. Jorge decides, you know what? I'm not afraid to roll with this guy. You know, he lands a takedown. He does something other than distance striking. You know, he changes the dynamic of the fight. He brings it into a clinch. You know, he switches it up. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if he, you know, grabbed a plum and started throwing knees, Muay Thai style. Because with 50 fights and the striking arsenal that Jorge has, the dude can throw everything. He can throw everything. So round 3 could look very different from rounds 1 and 2. And it won't be because Colby changed up his approach. He's not capable of doing that. Colby has one great approach that is slow to activate. But Masvidal can just keep switching it up. And switching it up. And switching it up. From a striking perspective. And with, 50 fights of experience. Come on, man. Dude's seen it all. So he's gonna switch it up, probably, you know, shorten the range, maybe even ground it. And Jorge's gonna start taking control in round 3. And Jorge is gonna realize, okay, I'm 2-1. I know this kid's hard to finish. And so Jorge is gonna, you know, kind of conserve his energy. He's not gonna coast, but he's not going to take any more chances knowing that he's up 2-1, right? So round 4 will kind of be uneventful from Masvidal, and Colby may eke out round 4 just for, you know, activity and risk taking. But then we'll get to round 5. Jorge Masvidal realizes this could be the biggest payday of his life, which it probably already is. But he realizes that it could propel him to even greater paydays. The crowd's behind him. He thinks he's winning, but he's not sure. And Jorge's gonna come out in round 5 like he comes out in round 1. And it's not going to be easy because we got a warmed up, overconfident, motivated Colby Covington doing the same thing. But at the end of it, Jorge Masvidal will drop Colby Covington, because Colby Covington is going to get reckless in that last round, because he's not even sure if he's winning, and he's thinking the same thing about putting on a good show. And Jorge Masvidal is going to catch him. He is going to catch him. He is going to drop him. He is going to see no need to conserve time or energy, and he's going to put him away. He's going to put him away in TKO in round 5. Masvidal wins this fight. He would have won it on the judges' scorecards, but it's not going to get that far. And Colby Covington, in true Trump fashion, is not going to accept it. He's going to make some sort of excuse and act like the man who just beat him can't beat him. You know, saying stupid shit like that, like, "Oh, you can never beat me. He just beat you." You know, that's the type of dumb shit that Colby Covington does. You know, he talks about how Usman can't beat him even though he already beat him. Okay? That's not how reality works. If somebody already did something, their ability to do it exists. Right? Yeah, so that's that. So that's the upcoming UFC. I want to say 272, whatever the number is. Jorge Masvidal versus Colby Covington. Jorge Masvidal wins this fight. And specifically, he wins it by TKO. And specifically, he does it in round 5. Okay, so that's my prediction. This has been the Steel Jab. Watch the fights.